WBD urges shareholders to reject Paramount's hostile takeover bid. Despite the amount. Well. Warner Brothers Discovery has formally urged shareholders to reject Paramount's hostile $108 billion takeover proposal. Yeah, just give up that $108 billion. Yeah. Arguing the bid carries major financial risks and lacks deal certainty compared to its accepted merger agreement with Netflix. Ta-dum. In a 3-page letter, only 3, sent to investors, WBD said Paramount's offer fails to qualify as a superior proposal and should be rejected in favor of Netflix's deal. A central concern raised by WBD is Paramount's claim that its bid is effectively backstopped by the Ellison family. While Larry Ellison is one of the world's wealthiest individuals and the financial backer of Paramount's CEO, David Ellison, WBD says there is no binding Ellison family commitment supporting the transaction. So what, they agree to the deal and then they go, psych, we don't really have the money. I guess. Anyway, according to the letter, Paramount's proposal relies on a revocable trust that WBD describes as opaque and filled with gaps, loopholes, and limitations. The board warned that this structure exposes shareholders to unnecessary risk and provides no firm assurance that funding would be available if financing were to fall apart. WBD also criticized the structure of Paramount's bid, noting that it allows Paramount to amend or terminate the offer, including changes to the price. With global regulatory approvals expected to take 12 to 18 months, the board said the proposal offers little deal certainty. Well, yeah, but the Netflix deal is going to take 12 to 18 months. Anyway, the offer's value is inadequate, with significant risks and costs imposed on our shareholders, said WBD board chair Samuel A. D. Piazza Jr., adding that the proposal once again failed to address concerns previously raised during multiple rounds of talks. Alongside rejecting Paramount's bid, WBD reiterated its support for its merger agreement with Netflix, which the board described as offering more certain value, stronger financing, and a clearer regulatory path. But it'll take 12 to 18 months. How clear is it? Well, anyway, Netflix co-CEOs Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters also sent a letter to WBD shareholders reaffirming confidence in their $82.7 billion offer. Sarandos said Netflix plans to preserve Warner Brothers' theatrical releases and maintain HBO's focus on prestige television until they don't. Yeah, none of these promises mean anything, but look, if there's holes in the Paramount financing, well then, yeah, that is a concern. So they're, concerned. But wait, Netflix has an answer too. Yes, Netflix rolls out fan bait PR campaign to sell Warner Brothers Discovery takeover. See, Superman's going to have to wear this symbol now. So long to the S. Anyway, Netflix has launched a full-scale public relations campaign aimed directly at Warner Brothers Discovery stockholders, pushing them to approve its proposed $82.7 billion acquisition of WBD while painting the deal as a win for fans, creators, and Hollywood. The campaign follows WBD's board formally urging shareholders to reject Paramount Skydance's hostile bid and back Netflix instead. Netflix executives Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters are now flooding investors with promises that everything fans care about, theatrical releases, legacy franchises, and creative teams will remain untouched. The legacy franchise will not remain untouched, but they will remain in some form or fashion. How bad will they ruin them? I don't know. Maybe they'll get it right. But the creative teams, that remains to be seen. Theatrical releases, extremely doomed. For a while. For a while. There better be a boom in theatrical releases. But even, I just see no evidence that Netflix is interested in that model. Yeah. So just like me, the critics aren't buying it. In its messaging and on the newly launched NetflixWBTogether.com, Netflix claims Warner Brothers will continue operating independently, with executive teams kept in place and theatrical releases preserved with industry-standard windows. The PR site prominently features imagery from major fan favorite properties, including Harry Potter, DC franchises spanning the Snyderverse to James Gunn's Superman, classic Warner Brothers films, and HBO prestige series. The message is clear. Nothing changes, except Netflix owns everything. That's it. That's it. Well, they're going to change something, because otherwise Warner Brothers wouldn't have needed to find someone to buy it if it was such a successful company on its own. This is the third sale. The third sale in just a few number of years. Yeah. Anyway, it's also worth noting that claims about keeping executive teams intact are standard merger rhetoric. Yeah, and it never holds up. Some people will stay here and there. Yeah. But yeah, it will not stay in place. I mean, a year or two after the sale's complete, at best, See? Promise kept. In practice, major mergers always lead to leadership shakeups, restructuring, and power consolidation once the deal closes. To keep it all separate, it's just going to be cheaper to merge it all in. I mean, HBO's just, at best, will be a tab on Netflix. That's it. Yeah? If that. The rest, it'll just be, an HBO production, whatever, at the opening of a film or TV show. That's it. Even when executives are initially retained to project stability, overlapping roles, cost-cutting, and strategic realignment almost inevitably result in departures, especially in a deal of this size and scope. This is simply evident by the fact that James Gunn and Peter Safran ran to Bloomberg to save their jobs after Netflix won the bid. The biggest omission from Netflix's glossy campaign is the reality of regulatory scrutiny. Netflix admits the merger could take 12 to 18 months to close, requiring approval from U.S. and international regulators, including the DOJ and EU competition authorities. Given Netflix's dominant global streaming position, the deal is expected to face serious antitrust resistance. Hollywood insiders have already begun framing the merger as a potential monopoly play that would concentrate too much power over content distribution and pricing in one company's hands. See, that's Avatar. It looks different behind the scenes, Anyway, despite Netflix's claims that the deal is pro-creator, the entertainment industry remains deeply skeptical. Netflix has long been criticized for undermining theatrical releases. Yep. Limiting back-end participation for creators, sure, replacing traditional profit participation with flat buyouts. Major filmmakers have spoken out against Netflix's model in recent years. James Cameron is among the most recent high-profile voices, warning that streaming-first economics devalue theatrical filmmaking and long-term creative sustainability. For many in Hollywood, Netflix owning Warner Brothers only accelerates trends they already see as damaging. Yeah, Hollywood's been beaten all over the place by Hollywood. You made a lot of mistakes. This is why you're in this position where the vultures can swoop in. Dummy. Anyway, now, while Netflix positions itself as a steward of Warner Brothers' legacy, the campaign is aimed less at creators or audiences and more at swaying WBD shareholders with fan-bait imagery and reassuring language. The pitch promises stability, growth, and respect for theatrical cinema, all areas where Netflix's past behavior has fueled distrust. Whether regulators, creators, or fans accept Netflix's vision remains an open question. But the aggressive PR rollout signals one thing clearly. Netflix knows this merger will be a fight. Yeah, plus they got to convince them that the $82 billion, or is it 87? Yeah, $82.7 billion. Is better than the $108 billion that Paramount's offering. And they got to make the case that, yeah, they're lying. Their finances aren't all that. And don't worry, we're going to steer the regulatory battle. You know. So if they can make a strong case that, oh, yeah, this Paramount financing is shaky, well, then they've beaten off Paramount. But then the regulatory business they got to deal with could all go south. And then what do you do? Well, Warner Brothers is right back to, okay, anybody else? Yeah, everything must go. Yeah. So we'll see. I thought it's bad all over. It's a terrible statement on Warner Brothers overall. I mean, really, I say this will be the third sale. I mean, the Discovery thing was just so Zaslav could come in, polish things up, and sell it again. The AT&T sale that happened was, Warner Brothers just ran itself in the ground, despite the fact that it's the one studio that actually accidentally stumbled into hits in recent times, but it really squandered opportunity after opportunity also, and spent a lot of money chasing after things. And that's always the case. It's always a gamble. That's true. But, oof. So anyway, this is where they are, but ultimately between the two, Paramount, at least that's coming out of a traditional studio, now run by tech moguls, of course, so kind of the same situation, but nevertheless, still more maintaining a studio system within Paramount, so the chances of the attempt, of course, they announced an ambitious thing for 30 movies a year, out of Paramount. So they seem more aggressive on the theatrical model than Netflix is. So on that point, that scores favorably on their side, should they somehow manage to snatch this away. But if there are legitimate holes in their financing, then that's probably it would derail it. But then again, Netflix could still lose because they're number one in streaming. And now they're going to take number 3 and get it even bigger. So, and they're going to, but YouTube. I don't think that's a strong argument. Anyway, there we go. The WBD war continues. Wait a minute, what's this? Warner Brothers Discovery says unknown American media company offered a takeover bid, I guess. Whoa, who could that have been? Well, it's interesting, but is it effective to overall? I don't know, but let's see here. Warner Brothers Discovery on Wednesday disclosed a 4th bidder submitted an offer for the company, adding to bids from Netflix, Paramount, and Comcast, though little is known about the unnamed firm. Well, here's the key facts. Warner Bros. Discovery, in a Securities and Exchange Commission filing, said it received offers for all or some of its business from Netflix and Paramount, as well as a Company A and a Company C, which Warner Bros. Discovery labeled as an American media company. Company A offered to buy just Warner Bros. Discovery's film and streaming assets, matching a bid reportedly made by Comcast, which was not named in the filing. So I guess that was Comcast. That's Company A. Anyway, unlike the three other offers, Company C bid for Warner Brothers Discovery's global networks business, including CNN, TNT, and TBS, among others, in addition to 20% of its film and streaming assets. Just 20% of that? I mean, the IP is kind of the bigger thing out of all, But I guess they only wanted certain of them, Okay. Anyway, Warner Brothers Discovery said it determined a proposal from Company C was not actionable and opted to move forward with preliminary offers from Netflix, Paramount, and Company A, which has to be Comcast, in late November. So there you go. Who else could have bid for Warner Brothers Discovery? Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav told executives in October that Amazon and Apple had expressed interest in acquiring the company, Bloomberg reported, citing two people familiar with the discussions, though neither firm would match the American media company label. It's not immediately clear what other companies would have submitted offers for Warner Brothers Discovery, though other firms submitted bids for Paramount last year before an $8 billion acquisition by Skydance. Apollo Global Management and Sony offered roughly $26 billion in a joint acquisition bid. Allen Media Group, which owns the Weather Channel, made a $30 billion bid for Paramount, with plans to sell the company's film studio, real estate, and intellectual property while holding its streaming and TV businesses. Warner Brothers Discovery announced a deal early this month with Netflix for the streaming platform to acquire the company, blah, 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 blah. And they're going to dump the legacy crap. Paramount submitted a hostile takeover. Yep. And they're going to go with Netflix. So Zaslav says, yeah, let's go Netflix. So anyway, there you go. Company C is either Amazon, perhaps, or Apple. Now, but they only wanted 20% of the IP, and they actually did want some of the cable channels. That's kind of interesting, because I would have thought most people didn't want it. Paramount's offering to buy the whole shebang, Netflix, and we're going to just dump that. And of course, it does appear like, and I mean, it makes sense. Zaslav already announced they're splitting the company in two next year, no matter what happens. But of course, if Paramount wanted to buy all of it, well, okay, then keep it together. It's your deal. But for Netflix's purposes, it's more favorable for that to be true. And as it's going, it looks like it will be. So then Netflix, it's some of the saying there were shenanigans and whatnot. It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? That is ends up being more favorable for Netflix overall from the get-go. But whatever, we'll see. So anyway, yes, there were more offers than what was initially public. So makes sense, but does it really matter which one now, because they're not in the game anymore. Supergirl test screening bombs, quote unquote, underwhelming. Yeah. What is this crap? Ugh. All right. Early word from a recent Supergirl test screening suggests the film failed to generate strong enthusiasm, though reactions stopped short of calling it a complete miss. All right. See, there's some hope. Huh? Yeah. Huh? According to information shared by Cryptic HD Quality on X, the screening produced mixed feedback with noticeable highs and lows throughout the film. Yeah. There's Supergirl responding to her critics, The film reportedly runs around 2 hours and 5 minutes, and reactions described it as uneven. Some scenes were said to shine far more than others, resulting in a viewing experience that didn't fully come together. While the overall response wasn't a total disaster, so it wasn't strong enough to spark excitement, which is rarely a good sign this late in the process. Yeah, you think reshoots can, One consistent positive from the screening was Millie Alcock's performance. She is a good, I only really know her from House of the Dragon, but she was impressive. So, but it's just a matter of what do you give her to do. It sounds like she came across, pretty good for this test audience. So, reviewers reportedly praised her work as Kara Zor-El, with her acting standing out, even when individual scenes or story elements didn't land. So this could be another example of a talented actor or actress, in this case, wasted on subpar material. Yeah. Anyway, that lines up with earlier comments from DC Studios leadership, who have repeatedly highlighted Alcock as a major strength of the film. Yes, but she can't deliver it completely for you. You have to give her a good story. Did you? Meanwhile, here comes Momoa. Jason Momoa's Lobo is confirmed to appear in 2 fight sequences, but is not the main villain. Despite his presence, the primary antagonist was reportedly underwhelming, a criticism that came up repeatedly in feedback. The odd thing is when they announced the actor, he kind of looked like the character in the comic book. He's just some guy with red hair and a beard. And they decided to put all this crap on his face. This just looks stupid. But I don't know. Maybe he's just not that great of an actor, Plus, he's got legal problems at the moment. But anyway, the lack of a strong villain appears to be one of the film's biggest weaknesses, and that's a huge problem, limiting the impact of the story's central conflict. Matthias Schoenaerts plays the villain, Krim of the Yellow Hills, whose look in the Supergirl trailer was drastically changed from the comics. It sure was. See, Supergirl's like, damn it! What's she gonna do, The test screenings are often used to fine-tune pacing and structure, but muted reactions at this stage raise concerns, especially given DC Studios' recent struggles. Yeah, Supergirl, thanks to the stumbling of Superman and the just disaster of Peacemaker Season 2, Supergirl is now put in the position of having to elevate the DCU franchise, and it's not going to be able to do it. So now, otherwise, if the Superman had been a smash hit and Peacemaker was even just okay, then she could be a movie that's just sort of all right. Everybody's saying, I liked Millie. She turned out to be pretty cool, and that sort of thing. The rest of it, I don't know. Momoa was cool. That would work. But now, so much more is riding on that cape. And sounds like they didn't really give her enough for this to step up to that position, So anyway, with Supergirl already facing online backlash, the studio may be under pressure to address story and tonal issues before release. Well, you went with, drunken TikTok girl. You thought that would really win it over. There's a lot of sadness to Supergirl's story. Doomed planet of Krypton, and she witnessed it all. She knows she actually got to see it. Kal-El was an infant when he was rocketed out of there. And so there's a lot there that, there's some sense to that. In the comic book, yes, she's getting drunk at the opening of the story. That's not throughout the story. So maybe it's just that they think that's funny and tee-hee, and that's how they'll introduce it. And the trailer is not really servicing the overall story well. This happens a lot. Sometimes really awful trailers can torpedo a pretty good movie. Other times, trailers look magnificent and look really cool and intriguing, like Last Jedi. But the movie it's promoting is absolute crap. And sometimes they're actually very accurate. The trailer's crap, the movie's crap. The trailer's good, the movie's good. Sometimes that happens, but it's it's a tough thing. And they went with, hey, it's really funny. The dog pisses on a picture of Superman in the Daily Planet. Supergirl's drunk and hungover. Giggle tee hee, and she kicks ass. They thought that would be cool. So, yeah. James Gunn's Superman already landed flat with audience, which is a shame. Another David Corns, but he could play a good Superman. He tried. He can only do with what they give him, and I think we're seeing yet another Superman actor who was ready to go, wasted. That's what it looks like. Same with Cavill. Same with Brandon Routh. So, making Supergirl's mixed test screenings reactions harder to ignore because Superman fell flat, especially with Gunn's future at the DCU in question. Supergirl is currently scheduled to arrive in theaters on June 26, 2026. So, whoops, whoopsie. So it's just sort of, yeah, that's not good. Gee, what the hell? Well, it's not a great image of Lobo, but it looks like they got that right. But now it's like the whole thing, Lobo, and he's probably only in it for a couple of minutes, you know? Yeah, and after all that, will the DCU survive long enough to get to the Lobo movie? Which is really the only movie that I could see James Gunn as being perfect to direct it. Not Superman. He's not directing Supergirl, but come on. That whole, it's Supergirl meets Guardians of the Galaxy. He's in charge. He's the boss of the whole thing, So, yeah. What you gonna do? Oh, well, maybe they'll figure it out, maybe. Did James Gunn just confirm Brainiac for Man of Tomorrow? I don't know, maybe. James Gunn may have accidentally reopened the Brainiac debate after attempting to shut it down. Earlier, Gunn pushed back hard on rumors claiming Dave Bautista was being considered to play Brainiac in Man of Tomorrow. In his response, Gunn stressed that none of the rumored actors have been discussed or auditioned, and pointedly added, "Let's not forget a moment. I've never said Brainiac was in the movie." But that's not saying he isn't in the movie. Now a follow-up exchange on Threads. What's that? Yeah, I know. Is fueling fresh speculation. After Gunn's initial response went viral, a fan questioned why Gunn bothers addressing casting rumors at all, suggesting that speculation and gossip might actually help with marketing. The fan also added that they were a big fan, likely to avoid the kind of backlash from Gunn that Gunn is known for delivering online. Gunn replied that there are numerous reasons he addresses certain rumors directly and referenced his earlier post. He emphasized that Dave Bautista is a friend and said he didn't want stories circulating later about why Bautista didn't get the job or whatever when someone else is eventually cast. Did Gunn tip his hand? That last line is what's causing the stir. By mentioning when someone else is eventually cast, Gunn appears to acknowledge that a specific role does exist and will be filled for Brainiac. See, there's Matt Smith. Yeah. In recent days, multiple actors have been rumored for Brainiac, including Dave Bautista. He says it's not happening, so take him off the list. Clace Bang, Matt Smith, and Sam Rockwell. Gunn has now stated clearly that none of those names have been discussed internally. Still, his latest comments suggest casting for a major role is coming eventually, even if it hasn't started yet. Maybe it is Alan Tudyk, who was previously said to have a secret role in the DCU. Whether intentional or not, Gunn's attempt to shut down speculation may have done the opposite. Until DC Studios officially reveals the villain or the cast, the Brainiac question isn't going away anytime soon. Gunn also let it slip that his DC future is in question when he went on that YouTube tour following, McGloin's report. It seems clear that Gunn should have a PR rep at his side whenever he makes comments. Well, whatever. I mean, he's like, I didn't say he's in it, but you didn't say he isn't. That kind of thing. So it stands to reason Brainiac's there, and it could probably be the same plot that I always talked about, that Brainiac could have fit in with the DCEU and come to take Metropolis because he sees the Earth as a doomed world. Why? Because Darkseid's coming. In this case, it could revolve around the Center being the main big bad that James Gunn was teasing and going to lead up to. But will the DCU last long enough for them to get there? Doesn't look like it. But nevertheless, that would have made the Earth seem doomed. And so Brainiac swoops in and takes Metropolis for his collection of dead worlds, So part of the human race survives forever trapped in one of his bottles. And that would be the deal. Superman wins in the end, but there's still a big monster and the Earth is still doomed because Brainiac just wanted to take a city from Earth and then leave. That kind of thing, which is what he did to Krypton. He stole Kandor. And then with Supergirl and some of the scenes in that trailer, it looks like it's going to be a scene where she describes, Brainiac stealing Kandor. That might be in there. Doesn't mean they have to cast Brainiac for that. It could just be his ship with the tentacles and everything hovering over Krypton, and that's all you see, and that sort of thing. But that could, play into Man of Tomorrow when Brainiac shows up and Supergirl's going, oh, crap, I know who that is, and that kind of thing, So, whatever. But it's all likely DCU is already over pretty quick. And I mean, everything's up in the air because of the sale with Netflix taking over and everything. But Alan Tudyk is another one who, he'd be a great, I think, maybe not so much looking like this. Yes, he voiced Dr. Phosphorus, but Dr. Phosphorus, if he was to appear in a Batman movie, that's a CGI character, so he could do both roles if you wanted him. And even if he is Brainiac, maybe they would go for a more robotic look of him, and he's just the voice of it. It could be. But I was really interested in Matt Smith, but apparently that was all rumor nonsense, and he says they were not discussed. So guess that was BS. I guess. But I could easily see him doing the role. I think he would be a really good Brainiac. So, Bautista, no. Mongol, as for Superman villains go, he could probably do that. He'd be pretty good at that, I think. And the other two, they'd probably be all right. But Matt Smith and Tudyk, pretty top notch, for the role, if it happens at all. But it's a big if at this point, I suppose. James Gunn's Lanterns has right-wingers as the villains. I am shocked. Surprise, surprise, new details from a reported Lanterns teaser screening are raising eyebrows and reinforcing concerns surrounding James Gunn's woke DCU, which leans heavily into divisive political territory. According to a description shared by someone who attended a recent event in Mexico City, the HBO series positions its villains as right-wing extremists. Hey, look. Green Lantern ring. Per the recent teaser, the footage is described as very grounded and realistic, closer in tone to True Detective Season number 2 than a traditional superhero series. Lanterns is also being compared to HBO's Watchmen. Oh, no, you don't want to do that. which was also developed by Damon Lindelof. The comparison appears intentional, signaling a serious, it was garbage, absolute garbage, gritty approach marked by heavy atmosphere and subdued pacing. Visually, the show reportedly looks unreal in a good way, with dense photography and a bleak, realistic aesthetic reminiscent of Mayor of Easttown? Huh? But while the production quality sounds high, the thematic direction is where controversy starts. One of the most discussed elements is Hal Jordan's Green Lantern suit, which is said to be fully practical and highly detailed. Black, green, and white. With gold accents? Yeah, you're not supposed to. No, you don't have that in there. Anyway, described as medieval and strange, intentionally unlike past comic or film designs. Oh, jeez. Medieval, it sounds more like the Kingdom Come suit that Green Lantern wore in that comic book series. Anyway, the suit reportedly incorporates what looks like an actual medieval breastplate. Okay, yeah. Along with hanging leather jackets and gear stored in Hal's closet. Okay. When he finally appears, he does so wearing a mask, further emphasizing the grounded, almost law enforcement aesthetic. Why would that emphasize law enforcement? I mean, that's the mask. Is it like that, or is it like a SWAT team fully covered mask? I don't know. Notably, there is very little ring usage shown in the footage, probably because there isn't a whole lot in the whole show, suggesting the show may downplay classic Green Lantern constructs in favor of realism. Hal's suit is also compared to an alternate Injustice suit, so more like this. That's why I picked that's the Injustice. So a big clunky armored suit, probably, I guess. The biggest talking point comes from the villains. The antagonists are reportedly teased as right-wing extremists, described as abandoned and radicalized. So what? They're a bunch of groypers and all that, I guess. When asked whether characters like Atrocitus or Black Hand were involved, the response suggested the closest visual comparison was cemetery imagery, not cosmic threats. Now, I guess with Black Hand already being involved with things and bringing back the dead with it and all that sort of stuff, it's not what he was originally, but it's what he became in Blackest Night event. So maybe one of them becomes Black Hand and he's able to use the dead as his Black Lanterns against the Green Lanterns. Yeah, might be that. For critics of Gunn's DCU, this reinforces a growing belief that political messaging is being prioritized over classic DC mythology. Worth a mention is that Tom King also developed. Yeah, that's all Tom King does. That's all Damon Lindelof does anymore because they got nothing else. So they keep, in whatever reason they fall for this, why Damon Lindelof, after what he did with Watchmen, is certainly allowed against anything, but on board a DC property is insane. And once again, I'm going to rip off, True Detective and stuff like that with some special effects here and there with, Green Lantern stuff. And that's about it. And the rest of it, to cover up the gaping holes in it and my lack of ability to have an entertaining narrative, is to paste it over with messaging about white supremacy and stuff like that. I don't know. There might be a little more to this, so it won't be as bad as his Watchmen. But man, was that crap. Of course, the conservatives were also responsible for outing Gunn's disturbing tweets that led to his firing by Disney years ago. Yeah, outing them? They were public. He put them out there. Yeah. And he's the one guy. A lot of people who would get canceled, they stayed canceled for a long time. Gunn immediately got a new job over at Warner Brothers. So, shut up. The teaser reportedly hints that Jon Stewart cannot become a Green Lantern unless Hal Jordan hands down the role, leading to speculation that there may only be one ring between the two characters. That's a significant departure from established lore and possibly backing up claims that Hal dies, which would pass the ring to Jon. Yes. Yeah, that's not how that works. Having one ring, the one ring to green them all, between the two would obviously also save on visual effects cost. Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan is said to deliver a strong performance. Yeah, solid actor. I'm sure the actors will all will do a good job, but they'll just end up being good talents wasted on crap product. But the structure raises questions about how much room the series leaves for other lanterns to grow. More rumors below. Take these with a grain of salt, but additional rumors have also said the younger Jon Stewart falls in love with the older Zoe, Purna Jagannathan. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Anyway, and that her husband is a white conservative. Oh, no, which fits with the new rumors above. So the white supremacist married a woman of color. That makes sense. There are also claims that the reason Hal and Jon show up in the heartland of America is to investigate the death of Green Lantern Alan Scott, another departure from established lore. Well, within the past decade, DC Comics changed. Decade? This is pretty recent. They just suddenly magically made him gay, despite the fact that he fathered two children for decades. He's the original Green Lantern. I mean, this goes back to the 40s. And all of a sudden, his son came out as gay, and that was well established. Then they did an alternate Earth version of him that was gay. Not good enough, so they just suddenly decided magically he's gay now. Not only that, they did a whole series on him about being gay, going to the docks and soliciting gay prostitutes. Oh, great stuff. So what happens to a gay man in the heartland of America surrounded by right-wing extremists? Can you guess? Yeah. We can also add that Alan Scott may have retired and handed his ring down to Hal. So Abin Sur completely erased. Might as well, because Hal Jordan isn't going to last much longer either. So now, per the leaks, Hal is supposed to retire and hand down his ring to Jon. Also recall, Gunn took shots at America in Peacemaker with comparisons to Nazis. Yeah. Adding to the grounded and arguably provocative tone, the teaser features Highway Patrolman by Bruce Springsteen, a known left-wing figure, further aligning the series with law enforcement imagery and real-world themes rather than cosmic adventure. Well, yeah, that's well now that it, to go on the cheap, they weren't going to be able to do this in space. For a long time, there were rumors about a Green Lantern feature film that would be a handing of the torch to Jon Stewart from Hal Jordan. It was rumored that Tom Cruise would be playing Hal Jordan, and ultimately that's how it would end. Either Hal Jordan would die and Jon Stewart would carry on, and it would be this buddy cop scenario, but it was going to be, in outer space and that sort of thing, not in some small town. And then he would go on to be the Green Lantern of the DCEU, show up in Snyder's Justice League films, I assume, and that sort of thing. But, they didn't get around to it. But the template still there, and it's just going to dust that off, repurpose it in this story, and slap on whatever this murder mystery is. And that it's a bunch of white supremacists who don't realize they're actually a pawn of some ancient evil force. But they found out Alan Scott's gay, so they kill him. And Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart come to investigate the murder and uncover the ancient evil force. But anyway, the plot to get rid of Hal Jordan so you can just have Jon Stewart stays in place, and that's what they'll do. Yeah. Nobody has any more stomach for this crap. I mean, look at Pacemaker season 2. We had, people who love Jesus are Nazis. That's practically what you did in that show. You're nuts and stupid. Oh well. Hey, maybe they'll figure it out and cut that crap out. Maybe that's why the show was delayed. It was supposed to come out before Supergirl. Now it's going to have to come out after it. Maybe they're going to try to, polish the turd. And maybe it'll shine. And shine green. Yeah. Maybe. Who are we kidding? Yeah. Once upon a time, there was going to be a Justice League Dark, which is sort of an offshoot of the Justice League where they deal with the supernatural, magic, and stuff like that. And Guillermo del Toro was going to direct it. It was going along. They had all kind of plans, concept art, and all that stuff. It was exciting, but, well, it sadly didn't happen. But apparently, Guillermo del Toro was talking about it. So when it comes to comic book related media cancellations, perhaps none has stung more than that of Guillermo del Toro's Justice League Dark. Well, actually, his Hellboy 3 stings a little more for me. I really wish that could have been done. I really enjoyed his Hellboy movies, and it would have been nice to have a complete, trilogy there. And you can move on with someone else for help. But so far, they haven't been able to pull it off. But anyway, especially given that his fantasy horror creative tastes made him a near perfect choice to handle the material. And unfortunately, that aching pain is only set to get worse now that Del Toro has finally opened up about just what he had in store for DC's premiere Supernatural Super Team. First confirmed as in development in 2013 under the original title Dark Universe, Del Toro's take on the eponymous team would have existed separate from the then-in-progress DCU and followed a core roster of John Constantine, Deadman, Madame Xanadu, Swamp Thing, and Zatanna, the five of whom unite to face an encroaching magic threat facilitated by the Floronic Man. Hey, that's like in the comics. Unfortunately, the project near immediately found itself in development hell, the difficulties of which eventually prompted Del Toro to exit the director's chair in June 2015. And though Justice League Dark was never officially canceled, it only received 2 subsequent updates in the years since. The first being in 2016 announcement that Edge of Tomorrow director Doug Liman had signed on to direct, and the second being the 2017 confirmation of his exit, and is presumed dead in the water following James Gunn's DCU revamp. So, well, whether through personal choice or lack of a pointed opportunity to do so, Del Toro has never provided details as to just what his plans were for DC's dark magic outing. Or at least he hadn't, until a recent appearance on entertainment reporter Josh Horowitz's Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. Turn to the topic thanks to a question from Horowitz as to whether or not there was any truth to the previous rumors that he was looking to cast Colin Farrell as Constantine. Well, that would have been pretty good. Del Toro began his reflection by admitting, "No, I was not casting yet, but I knew I wanted Doug Jones to be Deadman. Oh, yeah. Another excellent casting choice. Because, well, apparently he wasn't casting Colin Farrell, but Doug Jones would have been, both would have been good in those roles. Anyway, because he physically could do the suit and know his mannerisms and all that. Yes. Yeah, he would have been great. From there, assuring, I loved that screenplay. I really was in love with that screenplay. I thought it brought everybody in effortlessly. Del Toro was then asked by Horowitz if he could reveal which of the team's many spellcasters were set to be the film's lead, to which he quickly confirmed it was Constantine, before providing a surprise overview of the team's proposed adventure, including a major cameo from one of their namesake's founding members. The plot made absolute perfect sense. I really loved how they got tangled into a team. The Floronic Man was one of the villains, and it was really, really great because Swamp Thing was very fleshed out, as was everybody. And there was like a moment where Batman came in briefly. We said, we need a plane. And Constantine said, I know. A friend of mine has a plane. And then you were in Bruce Wayne's office. I would have loved to have done that. I don't know why they should have they could have gone and connected it to the DCEU and have Affleck show up for the cameo, I don't know if they would do that to him. Maybe. Anyway, I mean, the screenplay is there. It's not like it's not chit-chat. It was a couple of years of development for that screenplay. We never got to the art, but it had great set piece. Well, set piece. There was concept art. I think anyway, great set piece. My favorite one was Deadman on a long chase, jumping from one body to the next. It would have been an 80-year-old lady in Central Park running after the protagonist and then jumping into a traffic cop or a mounted cop. It was a really thrilling thing. Eventually asked by Horowitz if he had received any sort of DCU-related call from Gunn, Justice League Dark-related or otherwise, Del Toro asserted, no, but now and then I write him about something else he's doing. I think he's remarkably smart. I loved Superman. Well, I love the actor playing him. Yeah, he did a good job. Yeah, and I really enjoyed the way he's viewing the universe. Yeah. Well, you want to be on good terms and that sort of thing. I understand. At present, the only Justice League Dark member confirmed for an appearance in the new DCU is Swamp Thing, for whom a new solo film was initially announced as part of Gunn's initial development slate, but has not received any additional updates. Yeah, and since Mango pretty much already jumped ship on that, I don't think that's happening. Again, will the DCU survive past Man of Tomorrow? Probably not. But there was an animation of Swamp Thing walking around. I thought that was confirmed to have been some preliminary work on what the look would be and stuff like that. And there was this concept art. But, oh well, it didn't happen. Would have been cool. But, and still, keeping it separate from, I don't know why, what would be the point? You could have folded that into it. Anyway, it didn't happen. So this is one of those woulda, coulda, shoulda. Well, maybe shoulda. We don't know. Maybe he says the screenplay is great, and I mean, he's done some great work, but was it great? Maybe it wasn't. Oh, well, guess we'll never know. But then again, if they want to revisit it, they'll probably dust that off and just steal the plot of it and rewrite it. Because a lot of these movies, that's the case. Some of these story ideas, they're like 10, 20 years old. And they just dust it off, credit someone else, that kind of thing. So, yeah, maybe there will be a Justice League Dark. One day. So Steven Spielberg reveals UFO movie titled Disclosure Day. There's a lot of clicking in it, Steven Spielberg has officially revealed the title and teaser Disclosure Day, where the truth will be revealed. And look, she's holding a light. The first theater frames Disclosure Day as a world-changing moment centered on humanity discovering proof that we are not alone. It opens with the question, if you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you? The teaser goes on to state, this summer, the truth belongs to 7 billion people, before closing with the message that the world is drawing closer to Disclosure Day. Yeah. Oh, it's a bird. And her eyes are doing something weird. Yeah, it's probably because she's one of the hybrids. She just doesn't know it. She's going to find out her DNA is mingled with alien DNA and all that. Anyway, Disclosure Day is an original film created and directed by Spielberg, marking his return to large-scale science fiction. The project recalls his earlier genre-defining work, including Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and War of the Worlds, which focused heavily on human reaction and emotional impact rather than pure spectacle. Oh, yeah, the deer. Yeah. Hey, look, he's got the contact lens, too. Anyway, the screenplay is written by David Koepp, who has previously collaborated with Spielberg on Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, War of the Worlds, and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was also a sci-fi film. Yeah. Those films combined to earn more than $3 billion worldwide. Koepp also wrote the screenplay for 2025's Jurassic World Rebirth. Was that any good? I didn't see it. I don't know. Wow, she is so hot. Jeez. What a great weather woman. That rule. Anyway, the film stars Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Eve Hewson, and Coleman Domingo. Universal is positioning the project as a prestige sci-fi event, pairing a high-concept premise with an award-winning cast. All these people are involved. Spielberg's Fablemans won some awards. So, hey, it might be good. You know, the concept is intriguing. It's a spooky trailer, that type of stuff. And hopefully it all works out. But could it be a means by which to prepare humanity for the real Discovery Day? Perhaps, but maybe not. Anyway, hopefully it's a good film. On par with E.T. or Close Encounters. And War of the Worlds, probably not on... Well, yeah, not on par with Close Encounters and E.T., but people panned it here and there, but I really liked his War of the Worlds. I thought that was pretty good. So maybe this will be as good as that. You know? Or just maybe. One more before Steven hangs it up, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe he's got something here. Maybe. The Exorcist, Martyrs, is the title for the Scarlett Johansson reboot of The Exorcist. Look, I understand. It's a paycheck. She did Jurassic Park. You know, what was that? Part 7, I guess? I don't know. So, hey, how about an Exorcist movie? All right. I don't know if we're going to see her, you know, her head turned backwards, or she'll be the mother of the kid possessed. Whatever. Anyway, the new Exorcist movie starring Scarlett Johansson has a title, yeah. And in new story details further confirmed just how far writer-director Mike Flanagan is pushing the franchise away from its previous incarnations. Via World of Real, Johansson is set to play a small-town rookie detective who becomes entangled in a case involving what's described internally as inconceivable darkness. The role positions Johansson as the audience's grounded entry point into the horror, rather than a legacy character tied to past Exorcist lore. It has also been confirmed that the film has no connection to The Exorcist Believer or its canceled sequel, Deceiver. So, Exorcist Believer flopped, huh? Yeah. Look, there's really only one Exorcist movie. Yeah, there's a couple of things. The second one was really awful. The third one, a little better than the second one. It had some interesting things to it, I guess. But really, Exorcist is a one-and-done film. There's plenty of other movies that have done demonic possession. Good Lord, there's scores of them. So I guess to just take the brand name, The Exorcist, I guess that's what they'll do. But at least, okay, she's the detective. She's going to be investigating a crime. And it involves something. But that's kind of like Exorcist 3, But anyway, Flanagan reportedly wanted a clean break, focusing on atmosphere, dread, and character instead of franchise callbacks. Yeah, but you're still using the title. And it's a reboot, so you're still connected some way or another, Adding to the grounded approach, Hamnet actor Jacob B. Jupe has been cast as Johansson's son. Is he going to be possessed? Yeah. His role suggests the story will lean heavily into a parent-child dynamic, a familiar but effective framework Flanagan has used successfully in past projects. That relationship is expected to play a major emotional role as the investigation spirals into darker territory. Is Johansson's son the one who gets possessed this time? Probably. The Exorcist's Martyrs is being described as a fresh concept. The concept is not fresh. Come on. Deliberately distanced from the mythology and continuity that bogged down Believer. No returning characters, no legacy storylines, just a new entry set within the Exorcist universe in name and tone only. You just can't make your own movie. You got to use the brand name, huh? After Universal paid $400 million for the rights and watched Believer collapse with critics and audiences, the mandate appears clear. Simplify, reset, and rebuild trust. Flanagan writes and directs Exorcist Martyrs for Blumhouse, Atomic Monster, Morgan Creek, and Universal. Scarlett Johansson's involvement already signaled a serious reset. Yeah. But don't expect her to save it for you. You got to have something. I don't know. I mean, it could be an okay film, and that won't be enough. You just, oh no, something's wrong with my son. Oh no, he's possessed by the devil. I don't know what to do. And then I assume there's an actual exorcist in the film who shows up to save the boy, I guess. Hey, you're kind of going back to the original story. It's based on a true story where it was a boy who was possessed, not a little girl. But, yeah, they're not doing that. Anyway, so now with the title and character details emerging, the picture is becoming clearer. This isn't a sequel. It's a restart. Well, yeah. Anyway, I guess we won't be seeing her puking everywhere and her head spinning around backwards or crawling on the ceiling and stuff like that. But anyway, somebody will, I guess. So they're desperately, look, we spent $400 million on the rights to this title. Maybe ScarJo could get people to show up and we can make some of that back. I don't know. Maybe. So there you go. You're all caught up. There's a few late breaking things I could discuss. Let me let's see this one. They're doing a countdown for Doomsday. All right, I guess I'll take a look at that. This other thing. The X-Men music, something or other. I didn't do any Marvel stuff for this go around, so I might as well pick up a few late breaking tidbits. Oh, what is this? Oh, yeah, that's enough. That's enough. We'll get the countdown for Avengers Doom. Stay. Yeah. No. But first, Superman. Where the hell am I? Oh, I'm still here. All right. Let's see. Where is there? It is. So we'll look at this. Let me make sure. All right. It's this little story. There we go. Superman David Cornsweet teams with Isa Gonzalez, fueling Wonder Woman speculation. So she's possibly the new Wonder Woman. Anyway, Superman actor David Cornsweet has teamed up with Isa. I don't know. Gonzalez for a new promotional campaign for Hugo Boss The Scent fragrance. Well, is it a sponsor of the Superman movie? The stylish ad pairs DC's new Man of Steel with an actress fans have long pushed for a major DC role of her own, Wonder Woman. The campaign features Cornsweet and Gonzalez in a sleek, high-fashion setting, highlighting Hugo Boss's latest fragrance line. While the collaboration has nothing to do with DC Studios on paper, it immediately caught the attention of comic book fans due to the casting. Cornsweet is James Gunn's choice to play Superman. He is? While Gonzalez has become a frequent fan cast choice for Wonder Woman, especially since the DCU reset began. Well, it's just a matter of, will it last long enough for her to get to play Wonder Woman? There's Cornsweet. There's his boss, clone or whatever the hell. You want to smell like Superman? You got to wear Boss. What the hell? What is he doing? You can't really fly like Superman. You know that, don't you? All right. So anyway, that's it. It's mostly pictures of him. But will she be Wonder Woman? Gonzalez has previously been rumored for Wonder Woman in James Gunn's DCU, a rumor that has circulated online for months and continues to resurface whenever her name trends. Fans have pointed to her screen presence, physicality, and star power as reasons she could fit the. I guess I'm unfamiliar with her, but anyway, while no official casting announcements have been made, Gonzalez remains one of the most requested actresses for the role among DC fans. You think they'll give her, the Wonder Woman suit and put her in the star panties? Yeah. Or will it just be the skirt or some dumb crap or a crappy rendition of the suit? I don't know. Anyway, a new Wonder Woman movie is known to be in development, though its status remains unclear. I thought they were supposed to fast track it, but probably not now because, everything's up in the air. So at one point, I should maybe read ahead, stupid. At one point, the project was described as fast track, but James Gunn later downplayed that characterization. The slowdown appears tied to the ongoing sale of Warner Brothers Discovery. So until we discover what's up with Warner Brothers Discovery, you really can't put any plans, except for the ones they already have. Gunn's Paradise Lost series, which sounded terrible, which was meant to explore Themyscira, also seems stalled with no meaningful updates in quite some time. Yeah, just don't do that. Stop doing, Superman shows with no Superman, Batman shows with no Batman, and here you're going to do a Wonder Woman show with no Wonder Woman. Yeah, just don't do that. Well, with Netflix emerging as the winning bidder For Warner Brothers Discovery, Gunn and DC Studios co-head Peter Safran received a 6-month contract extension. So get stuff together, wrap it up, do your Man of Tomorrow movie, and then don't let the door hit you on the way out. That timeline conveniently lines up with when the sale is expected to close, assuming regulatory approval goes through. Yeah, but what if it doesn't? Well, if Gunn remains in place once the dust settles, casting decisions for a Wonder Woman could finally move forward. And Isa Gonzalez may still be in the conversation. For now, the boss, the scent, campaign stands as a stylish crossover between DC's new Superman and one of fandom's most persistent Wonder Woman hopefuls. Whether that pairing ever carries over into the DCU remains to be seen. So, much ado about nothing here. They're just together in this ad. And a lot of times because fan speculation and fan casting almost never results in the person being cast. There's some exceptions, Jason Momoa being Lobo and all that. But anyway, I don't know. You think she'd make a good Wonder Woman? And what about Lois, Superman? What are you doing? I mean, that was always the thing, wasn't it? I mean, how the hell is Superman and Lois ever going to really get together? I mean, she's going to end up in a wheelchair or something after they, But Wonder Woman, oh, she can take it. Hey, come on. That's called physics. Anyway, so that's it for that one. The other one, I don't care about. I'll get to it at the end. What is this? And now let's go to this one, the Wolverine story. That one probably perhaps a bit better. Yeah. Wolverine trademark filing sparks solo MCU movie speculation. Hey, come on, Wolverine. You might be getting your own movie. I mean, a newly spotted Wolverine trademark filing, blah, 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 blah. A fan flagged the filing on the official U.S. government trademark database, showing Marvel Characters, Inc. submitted a new application for Wolverine, covering motion pictures, television programs, and multimedia entertainment. So there it is. You can't miss it. All this little fine print and everything. Wolverine! So the Wolverine trademark filed by Marvel. The trademark application was filed on December 12th, 2025. Wow, that's not that long ago. And explicitly covers the production and distribution of films and television content. While trademark filings don't guarantee a project is moving forward, they're often used to lock down titles ahead of future announcements. The filing immediately caught attention given Marvel's current push toward mutants and its ongoing Avengers Doom. Stay, roll out. I'm coming. I'm getting there. Previous rumors have claimed that Wolverine will not be a part of the MCU's X-Core lineup, or X-Men lineup, when the team is formally introduced. If true, the trademark filing adds fuel to speculation that Marvel may be planning separate X-Men and Wolverine movies and or TV shows, similar to how Fox previously handled the characters. That approach would allow Marvel to keep Wolverine as a standalone draw while positioning the X-Men as a broader ensemble. Eventually, Wolverine would be brought into the X-Men. Yeah, something like that. Industry rumors have repeatedly claimed that Kevin Feige wants to keep Hugh Jackman around as Wolverine for as long as possible, especially following the massive success of Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, I know, you're pretty desperate now, aren't you? Yeah. The trademark filing lines up with that thinking, suggesting Marvel may want flexibility to continue using Jackman's version of the character, even as new mutant stories roll out. Yeah, but if you're going to have someone as young as Sadie Sink as Jean Grey, if that rumor turns out to be true, and Wolverine falls in love with Jean Grey, that's boy, that's a huge age gap there. Now, granted, Wolverine is supposed to be much older than he looks, and that sort of thing. But oh boy, Hugh Jackman is really showing his age lately, and But I mean, it's a core part of the X-Men story. He falls in love with her. She's attracted to him, tempted, but of course, her heart belongs to Scott. Cyclops. Anyway, rumors have also said Feige wants Hugh Jackman's Wolverine versus Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, which is, how Wolverine was introduced in the comics way back when. But hey, what about Henry Cavill, the only other actor to perform the character on screen? Yeah, that's right. Albeit very briefly, but nevertheless, adding another layer to speculation, our insiders have filled us in that Henry Cavill has had talks with Marvel about potentially playing Wolverine in the MCU. Yeah, but that goes back to when Deadpool and Wolverine was being done, so that's probably what the rumor was about. So he did the scene, and then that was probably all of it, But then again, I don't know. The claim was later echoed by another scooper who said Cavill met with Marvel after Deadpool. Oh, damn. Once again, read ahead, stupid. Oh, so maybe there is something to that. I don't know. The MCU's X-Men may arrive sooner rather than later, as Sadie Sink is said to be playing Jean Grey in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Well, okay, same kind of problem. She's really young. Anyway, the MCU X-Men, Avengers Doomsday stars, all these people. And the Doomsday X-Men music has also leaked online. The X-Men music. Well, let's see what that's about. Another Avengers Doomsday. Wait. Did it go in? Yeah, it did. All right. Another leak is making the round, this time involving what's claimed to be the X-Men's music from the film, adding to growing speculation about Marvel's upcoming epic crossover. Well, they're definitely in the film. We already know that. So I don't even know what the big deal is. The track is resurfaced online alongside renewed discussion about the confirmed X-Men lineup and how Marvel plans to integrate mutants across its next wave of releases. Spider-Man may also be involved. More than likely, yeah. What's being shared online is described as X-Men music tied directly to Avengers Doomsday. While Marvel has not confirmed its authenticity, the timing is notable, arriving amid a teaser rollout attached to Avatar, Fire and Ass. Can't stand Avatar. And I'm not going to go see it just to see some Marvel trailers. Anyway, that has already seen character-focused teasers for Steve Rogers and Thor leak online. As with the trailers, the studio has yet to address the leak publicly. Well, that's embarrassing, People might see the stains on your pants, and you're like, oh, damn it, it dribbled. You don't want to you just leave them alone. Anyway, if it gets taken down via copyright issue, that will be the confirmation. Well, yep, that's one way to tell everybody. It's real. The Russo brothers have also teased a new teaser. Doomsday X-Men theme. We are eating good. Yeah, all right. Well, he don't look like that no more. Anyway, Marvel has already locked in several legacy X-Men actors for Avengers Doomsday. The confirmed X-Men include Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Alan Cumming, Rebecca Romijn, James Marsden, Kelsey Grammer, and Channing Tatum, signaling a major reunion of the original film era lineup alongside newer Marvel characters. Well, Adding to the mutant momentum, Sadie Sink is now said to be playing Jean Grey in Spider-Man Brand New Day. If accurate, it would mark Jean Grey's MCU introduction ahead of Avengers Doomsday, positioning her as part of Marvel's broader mutant rollout rather than saving the reveal for the Avengers film itself. Well, at least something will have some backstory to it, except other than the rest of it being shoehorned in, especially this guy. Marvel has not officially confirmed who Sink is playing or Jean Grey's involvement. Yeah, she looks just like Mary Jane Watson, but we can't have that. So anyway, all these people will be in the movie, and it'll be released. Spider-Man will be released on July 31st, and then December. Oh, wow. A year from now, Avengers Doomsday. Yeah. Already read that. This is the clock thing. Yeah, okay. There's Steve Rogers from the trailer leak, and he goes to see his baby that he had with Haley Atwell. You're not seeing it. I got to show this instead. So there's the images, I guess. All that stuff. So, oh boy, they're really cooking everything up. Isn't that nice? Are you excited for Avengers Doomsday and all that good stuff? Won't that be fun? It's supposed to be. That's the idea. I don't know that it will. But, it's like everything else. You just got to wait and see. Yeah, isn't that the thing? It is. It isn't. It is indeed. It is. All right, let me take a look. I'll go over some Photoshops I did for Doomcock's Pop Culture Breakdown, and then we'll call that a night. Well, for me anyway. Not for you. You're just getting your day started, I guess. I don't know. All right. We will go look at my art. Yes. So anyway, here's one I did. I forget when. It was in August 6th, 2025. So we were talking about the Fantastic Four for some reason. And so I did these cartoon versions of the Fantastic Four, from the movie, and put it in there. But the movie didn't do very well, so I put them in flames. And a recurring theme is the Magic Kingdom of Disney just burning down, It's just a mess, Every now and then they'll have some aberration and a movie will do well, like Zootopia and stuff. But they just had a movie that I didn't even know they had one, the Ella McKay or whatever. No promotion whatsoever. It bombed. Anyway, there you go. There's that one. Oh, yeah, War of the Worlds. This goes back August 13th, 2025. So we talked about that. Oh, I still haven't seen Naked Gun. I had to do that. I think, about that time with Gina Carano's lawsuit with Disney had been settled. And then Weapons. Easily the best film of the year. That was cool. But not War of the Worlds with Ice Cube. That's classified. A movie where he sat in front of his computer and watched, the Martians invade Earth, or I don't know. Anyway, here we go. We started. Oh yeah, Fallout. I got to do my review of the first season, and then I did see the first episode of season 2. It's pretty good. So here's Fantastic Four, Alien because of Alien Earth, I believe. And then there was some idiot rumor that what's her name from The Last of Us wanted to be cast as the new Spider-Man after Tom Holland, I guess, or whatever. That was stupid. Yeah. I can't remember why, but there was suddenly there's interest in the Eternals, and then it quickly died, if it was ever true. Another image from Alien Earth. Section 31 came and went, so that's Jojo. And then I guess Peacemaker was talked about. I don't know. I guess Peacemaker was already out or whatever. And what a disappointment season 2 of Peacemaker was. Oh yeah, this one there was a group that there's a pursuit to do a shared universe of Airwolf, Knight Rider, and the $6 million man. Although I think he'll be $6 billion man, and so apparently that's underway. Will it get done? I don't know, but anyway, I did this mock-up of them for the thumbnail. And then, of course, we talked about Alien Earth. So there's the xenomorph eating the Earth. Yeah. Yeah. We were still talking about it the following week. So then Peacemaker talked about him. Easily the best actor of the series, alongside Tim Meadows for season 2. And that was about it. I can't remember, but it's a Warner Brothers show, so maybe that's why I put that there. Or maybe there was already discussions of the impending sale and all that. Star Trek was mentioned, so of course I have the Starship porcelain as a representation of current Star Trek. I think it fits it to a T. The toilet flying around, flushing Star Trek's good name with each effort by Secret Hideout. And yeah, there you go. So another one, Alien Earth was still going on, still munching on the Earth. Peacemaker was still going on, Eagly and Peacemaker. Some sort of mention about Doomsday. So there's Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom. There's Chris Evans, Captain America, and Kevin Feige, really nervous and sweaty, hoping this works, running around crazy. And then there was something about, I guess this about Wicked or whatever. I don't know, but the Emerald City, I threw that in there. And then I guess more Star Trek stuff was talked about. So, of course, once again, Starship Porcelain flew in to make an appearance for the thumbnail. Eagly, again, gets more prominent, as we discussed. Peacemaker season 2. Despite his best efforts, he couldn't save the show. He's only one bird. He had the best scenes, and the second runner-up, of course, was Tim Meadows. And that was it, you know. I don't know. The Mandalorian teaser, I think, came out. So there's Mandalorian going the wrong way. Damn, but, you know, that's probably how that's going to go. Alien Earth, still chewing on Earth. Magic Kingdom, still on fire to this day. Yeah. That's all, folks. Star Wars crashing and burning, I guess. I don't know. Eagly, still, you know, poor bastard. This was that AI actress that they were talking about, and she got signed to a talent agency or some crap. So I'll put the Terminator eye in her, you know. No one even talks about her anymore, so, man. That was just a dumb stunt. Here, Marvel Comics decided to kill off the original male Silver Surfer because, you know, the Fantastic Four movie was going to be so popular. So now you had to change it in the comics where there is a female Silver Surfer. And here she is. With severe skin condition or freckles. I don't know. Anyway, that was her deal. No, does anyone talk about her now? No. So more DCU stuff was talked, and Warner Brothers and everything. So here's James Gunn as Peacemaker, and then Peter Safran as his good pal, the Vigilante. And then Tron Ares was on the way. So, hey, will it be good? Will it be something? Well, I guess not. For what it was, yeah, I mean, it didn't do what the movie needed to do. You needed to continue the story established. You know, you really need to do that. And then, of course, people don't like Jared Leto. So, but for what it was, I don't know. It was a simple movie. I mean, it was all right, kind of. But what are you going to do? Once again, Starship Porcelain showed up, so it must have been some discussion of Star Trek on that episode. More of Tron Legacy, the Rey movie. So there's Rey in her dark side iteration, what have you. I guess DCU was discussed. So here's Gunn and Safran. So that a Jared Leto action figure, I guess? I don't know where I got that from. Anyway, there's the recognizers, and oh boy, isn't it cool? And then took the Tron version of the Magic Kingdom and stuck it there on the grid. And there you have it. See, he even did the letters, kind of, sort of, like Tron. Anyway, something about Doctor Who. So there's Shooty God was standing by the TARDIS. Didn't put the tears in there, though. But he's upset, because the show failed. Anyway, Star Wars crashing and burning. I guess this is about the mention that there was a secret Kylo Ren movie that they wanted to do. And Adam Driver was upset that it didn't get made or something. I don't know. Anyway, through that little drawing I did of Kylo Ren. Why can't I be as good as you? Because you're not. Oh, yeah. Poor Liam Hemsworth as the Witcher. Nobody watched it. Came and went. Predator Badlands probably did better than Witcher, but not enough. So I think it's actually, I forgot to fix this because I didn't really have an image of the character. I just used the action figure of it. Yeah. Once again, Paramount's water tower is here, and here comes Starship Porcelain chugging along. Yeah. And this crappy, god-awful Batman cartoon that never should have been made. And yes, they had Batman with a beard. By then, they're going to figure out, yeah, he's Bruce Wayne. They're stupid. Predator Badland. I fixed the arm, so now it's really him. It isn't. And then, Mel Gibson. It's got that, is it Hunting Day or Hunting Season? Damn it. But it looks cool. I didn't see the trailer. It looks probably a good movie from Mel Gibson. Still, things persisted about the Kylo Ren movie, crashing X-Wing, and then Running Man. Yeah. Didn't run far. Once again, more things about wokeifying the Wizard of Oz, so that they would want to do that with the Wicked movies, where you end up in the Wizard of Oz story. And we wondered, hey, what could Dorothy look like? So here she is with half her head shaved, her remaining hair dyed pink. And look, she's dyed Toto's hair in the rainbow colors. And oh boy, she's all tatted up. Yeah. And then, I don't know, I just threw in Scarecrow to smash out the Running Man window because I thought it would look cool. Emerald City makes a return. Disney's still burning. And there you go. So Zootopia 2 basically beat the crap out of Predator Badlands. So there's Predator all upset. Why? I don't know. That's the way things go sometimes. Magic Kingdom still burning. And this one, a very recent one, the deal was going, the bidding war over Warner Brothers between Netflix and Paramount. So that's the symbol there. Fantastic Four still sucks. It bombed even on DP. So there they are, plunging into the abyss. And they're going to do a new version of Cinderella, but this time the evil stepsisters are just misunderstood, and you should feel ashamed of yourself for not liking them. And we'll probably find out that Cinderella was kind of a bitch. So here they are from the classic Disney cartoon, back when they knew how to do that, with halos, because they're actually good women. Yeah. Oh, yeah, here's Aslan from Narnia. So they're going to do, what's her name? Greta Gerwig. It's going to do a woke version of Narnia. Get all that Christian stuff out of it, And so I gave Aslan a rainbow hairdo and a septum ring. Yeah. In fact, I think they have cast a woman to do the voice. Some actress, I forget. I'm blanking on it. I think she's kind of a big name, but whatever, and then the one from last night. Here we go. We talked about the leaked trailers. So there was Thor and Loki. And Loki, of course, I always knew he was going to be back, especially how they dealt with his character in his own show. Would make sense since he's essentially the god of time at this point. Of course, Chris Evans back as Captain America, Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. And then we talked about how the Lanterns show is just going to be a horrible disaster, more than likely, with woke elements and the like. So, oh boy, that ought to work out, huh? That sounds like a recipe for success, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. Oh boy, you're all caught up now. And I guess so am I. No super tips. Well, I tried. I did. So there you go. That's Nailsin Ratings Live. Hopefully I can do a live stream tonight. Probably do some drawings, stuff like that, you know. That'll be fun. I think. Maybe not. But we'll find out. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a good rest of your day. And, you know, we'll do it again. Hopefully tonight I'll, do another live stream then. And then that's it for the weekend because, I work the weekends all night long. All night, all night, all night, all night long. Something like that. I forget. Anyway, there you go. Have a good rest of your day. We'll visit again soon.
Pop goes the culture. Pop, 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 pop goes the culture. Myths and legends, grants and escape to heaven. A darker, taller tale is a tour of hell. Pop goes the culture. Pop goes the culture. Pop, 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 pop goes the culture.